This past Shabbat, a few days ago, July 11th, there were some major protests and clashes in Jerusalem, the holy city, the city of God, the city of the Torah, the city of the Mashiach, where he is going to come and reign as king and high priest, teach Torah, observe Shabbat, teach the entire earth how to keep God's commandments. What was going on? A coffee shop opened up a few weeks ago, right in the heart of Jerusalem. A coffee shop called Basimta in the alley. And it's not just that the coffee shop opened, it's that the coffee shop opened on Shabbat, right there in the holy city. Well, and as you would have it, all the religious Jews streamed to protest this godless violation of God's Torah, opening businesses on Shabbat in his holy city. And when the secular people were all on their phones and Facebook and watching the news on Shabbat heard that the Hasidic Jews are protesting this coffee shop, they all streamed to the coffee shop to support it, show their support, give their money to this violator of God's Torah. The cops showed up. You know the drill. And there were some clashes. The owners proclaimed, we're not going to give up. We're not going to surrender. We want people to have a place, to have their coffee, to come and sit and enjoy Shabbat. But wait, there's more. Because on the surface, when I heard about this, I figured, well, that's another typical secular versus religious clashes. The godless people versus the religious people. But here's the worst of it all. You ready for this? Who owns this coffee shop? Who is the major violator of this offense against God's Torah? The coffee shop is owned by an organization called Jews for Jesus. You heard me. Jews for Jesus, and the owner, his name is Yoel ben David, Yoel son of David. Jews for Jesus is owning this coffee shop that is a major violator of God's Torah in the middle of Yerushalayim, violating the Shabbat. When I heard it, I wanted to tear my clothes in mourning. And I did fall on my face in prayer and supplication before God when I heard of this horrible news. It's one thing if the enemies of God, the secularists, violate Shabbat. They're supposed to. They don't believe in God. Why would they observe Shabbat? That's fine. I can't really hold that particular offense against them, along everything else that we do. But when it is those who claim to believe in the Mashiach, those who claim to believe in Yeshua, they are the major violators in this offense? It just broke my heart. What has become of this world when it is the alleged followers who commit these grave atrocities? I can't help but think back about Ezra when he came to Yerushalayim from Persia, and he found that many of the Judeans have intermarried foreign wives, bringing in idolatry into their homes. And it says in Ezra, I believe maybe chapter 8 or 9 or 10, the major violators of this offense were the leaders. The priests and the high priest and the Levites, the leaders were the greater violators in this offense, not the common folk, it was the leaders. Those who proclaim the faith, those who allegedly practice the faith, those who believe. And if they are the ones that violate and lead the people into sin, what hope is there for the people? There is none. Everything falls and rises on leadership. If those who claim to believe in Jesus, who proclaim Jesus, his name is Yeshua, not Jesus, but Jews for Jesus, that is a godless organization that is an enemy of God, and I do pray for their destruction because they profane the name of the Lord. They bring reproach on the name of the Mashiach. Jews for Jesus. Jews against God is what they are. And how horrible it is for me as a lover of God's Torah, as a lover of Yeshua, the Mashiach. Yes, I believe in Yeshua, but Yeshua was a Torah observant Jew. Yeshua taught the word of God and said not the smallest yod or the smallest letter will be done away from the Torah until everything is accomplished, until heaven and earth pass away. That has not happened yet. Yeshua never violated Shabbat. Yeshua never abolished the Torah to increase sin. Where do you get that from? And here's what Adonai says in Isaiah 56. Observe justice. Do what is right, for my salvation is close to coming, my righteousness to being revealed. Happy is the person who does this, anyone who grasps it firmly, who keeps Shabbat and does not profane it, and keeps himself from doing any evil. Isaiah 58. If you hold back your foot on Shabbat from pursuing your own interests, on my holy day, if you call Shabbat a delight, Adonai's holy day, worth honoring, then honor it by not doing your usual things or pursuing your interests or speaking about them. Ezekiel 20. I gave them my Shabbat as a sign between me and them, so that they would know that I, Adonai, am the one who makes them holy. But the house of Israel rebelled against me. They did not live by my laws. They rejected my rulings, which, if a person does, he will have life through them. Moreover, they greatly profaned my Shabbats. Ezekiel 44, talking about the Messianic temple, things that have yet to happen and will happen when Yeshua comes back. Ordaining the priests, they are to teach my people the difference between holy and common, and enable them to distinguish between clean and unclean. They are to judge in controversies. They are to render decisions in keeping with my rulings. At all my designated festivals, they are to keep my laws and regulations, and they are to keep my Shabbat holy. And here's the biggest one. You ready for this? Isaiah 66. Every month on Rosh Chodesh and every week on Shabbat, talking about the Messianic era, everyone living will come to worship in my presence, says Adonai. As they live, listen to this, they will look on the corpses of the people who rebelled against me. For their worm will never die, and their fire will never be quenched. But they will be abhorrent to all humanity. So did Yeshua cancel the Shabbat? Did he say the Torah is done away with? You fools, you are enemies of God, and you will be utterly destroyed. Yeshua did not cancel the Shabbat. He came to fulfill it. Do you know what that means? To teach us how to truly observe Shabbat. Just like he said about do not murder. What did he say? You've heard it said do not murder. I tell you, don't even contemplate murder. Does that mean that we can murder now? Well, Yeshua canceled the Torah. I can murder. What about idolatry? He said, well, you heard it said do not commit idolatry, but if you look at a woman with lust, you already have committed idolatry with her in your heart. Well, did Yeshua cancel that one too? Can you commit idolatry now? You fools. Peter said it best in his letter, 2 Peter chapter 3. talking about the writings of Paul that so many of you use to your own destruction, profaning and perverting the words of God. And he said it. Well, Paul, he talks about these things, but his letter contains things that are hard to understand, that the ignorant and unlearned misuse and pervert, as they do with other scriptures, to their own destruction. You fools! You are destroying yourself and you are gonna end up in hell. Or did you not know that Yeshua said that anyone who knows the Master's will be beaten with many blows? Anyone who does not know and still does will be beaten with few blows because they did something deserving punishment. You wicked servants, violating God's Shabbat. There is a judgment coming, especially for those who claim to believe, especially for you Jews for Jesus, godless organization. Violators of God's Torah, profaning His holy name. Not only you don't enter the kingdom of heaven, you shut the doors in other people so that they cannot enter. You are the Pharisees. You are the ones whom Yeshua rebuked, hiding under the guise of Jesus. Wicked people. Judgment is coming for you.